Hello everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back and I have another fight prediction video for you guys. I'm very excited about this upcoming fight, UFC 219. Gonna take place December 30th, 2017, and in the main event we have two of the scariest women in MMA currently. We have the champion at 145 pounds, Cris Cyborg, taking on the challenger, Holm. Now, these fighters are both, in my opinion, polar opposites of each other. And before I get too deep into this video, I want to tell you that if you're watching thinking that I'm just a person sharing my opinion, it's much deeper than just an opinion. I've studied martial arts all my life. Since I was a little boy, I've taught classes since 1996. I've fought in the cage myself. I've trained fighters to fight in the cage. I've got a wealth of experience. So this is not just an opinion, this is a educated opinion. So take it for what it's worth. So getting back to the fight, when you talk about Cris Cyborg, she is one of the scariest fighters on the planet. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to see her fight, the best thing that I can use to describe her is that she is like a female version of Mike Tyson. If you haven't seen her fight, prepare yourself to be blown away by violence. She is a Vanderlei Silva type fighter. She started at shoot box. She has that same killer kind of fight mentality to her. She's the type of fighter that when she smells blood, she pours it on and kills that fighter. You know, she's got a lot of finishes. She has been undefeated for over 12 years. She is one of my favorite fighters. Like I said, she's like a female Mike Tyson. She is 100% brawler. If the fight goes to the ground with anybody, she's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She can finish. She can win on the feet, win on the ground. She's a very, very talented fighter. I'm a huge Cyborg fan. Like I said, she's a brawler. Let's talk about Holm. In my opinion, Holm is the complete opposite of Cris Cyborg. Holm is the preacher's daughter. She's a family woman. She's a married woman. She loves her team like a family. She was a multiple world champion in boxing. She has seen the big stage, in my opinion, more times than Cris Cyborg has. And Holly not only is similar to Cyborg in her ability to finish the fight, but I think that Holly's a slight bit more tentative. I think she's a little bit more disciplined as a fighter, and I think she has a better ability to continue on with the game plan. And she's a kickboxer. So in fighting, there's a term that we use, and I bring it up all the time, and it says, if you're a boxer and you're fighting a brawler, you get technical and you box the brawler. That's how you win. If you flip that coin over and you're a brawler going against a very technical boxer or kickboxer, you brawl with the boxer and throw crazy punches and get guerrilla with them and win the fight that way. You overwhelm them. So in this fight, we literally, in my opinion, have that. We have Cyborg, who's the brawler, who has that kill or be killed mentality, versus Holm, the very disciplined preacher's daughter. A very beautiful woman, long, straight hair, but she is an animal in the cage. Like I mentioned earlier, Cyborg has the ability to finish anyone, whether it's on the ground or standing. If she smells blood, she will pour it on and finish. She's got power. Her punches land. In fact, the woman that beat Holm, Gerandamane, took the belt, and in my opinion, I think Holly won that fight because Gerandamane hit her a few times after the bell, and they never deducted her a point. If they would have deducted her a point, she would have lost the fight. I think Holly would have won that fight. But that's besides the point. Let's get back to the topic. Gerandame was offered a fight with Cyborg. And this is how scary Cyborg is. Gerandame said, you know what? I don't want it. I will vacate the belt. I don't want nothing to do with Cris Cyborg. She's just too much for me. She vacated the belt. Smart woman. Holly is not that woman. Holly is the type of person that will face the scariest adversary possible. And in my opinion, when she does that, sometimes it brings out the very best of Holly Holm, because she's scared and she knows that everything's on the line. Now, in this fight, you have the brawler in Cyborg versus the kickboxer in Holly. I think it's going to come down very simple. It's going to come down to who can impose their will. Remember, I talked about it earlier. You box a brawler or you brawl a boxer. So it's going to come down to who can impose their will. I think Holly is going to have a bigger gas tank. She's going to have the cardio more than Cyborg. I think Cyborg going to be a bigger fighter, a heavier fighter, stronger fighter, and that means she needs more cardio. I think Holly's going to come in there a little more trim, a little bit lighter weight, and I think she's going to be able to be like the Energizer Bunny and go all night long and look for that finish. Cyborg has been undefeated for 12 years. She's been on top. She has that aura about her that people are afraid of. Everybody's afraid of Cris Cyborg, and I agree. I'm a dude with martial arts experience. I'm a black belt, and I wouldn't want to fight Cyborg. Not at all. I'd be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know. In fact, there was when women's MMA first started, there was a reporter that was doing an interview with Cyborg, and the dude was talking to her, kind of talking down to her almost a little bit, and he made a comment that pissed her off. He told her, he said, well, women don't finish fights as much as men do. So what did Cyborg do? She choked him unconscious right in the middle of an interview. I mean, the dude was out. I'll try to find that video. I'll put it down below too if I can find it. Now, talking about chokeouts, okay, when Holly was still at 135 pounds, I think it was, she was fighting Miesha Tate. I think it was at 135, might have been 45. I think it was 35. She fought Miesha Tate, and from what I gather, she won all 5 rounds. Miesha Tate knew that it came down to the end where it's kill or be killed, and Miesha Tate pulled the trigger, took Holly down, and choked her unconscious. Holly never tapped out. She never quit. In fact, she was throwing punches as she went unconscious. I mean, that's the kind of fight spirit that Holly's got. And you can't teach that. You can't teach that. A person either has that inside of them or they don't. And both of these women in this fight have that. They're both killers. Now, the truth being told, I could easily see this fight going either way. I could see Cyborg knocking Holly out, landing those shots, leg kicks and things like that, and clipping her and putting Holly away. I also see Cyborg, which would be very difficult, this next thing I'm going to say, I could also see Cyborg getting her to the ground and potentially submitting her. That does not mean that Holly's a slouch on the ground. Holly's got underrated jiu-jitsu. She just got caught with Miesha. There's more underneath, behind the curtains of Holly Holmes as far as her ground game than what people see. I can tell you that. But I can also see the fight going where Holly wins by a decision, being very strategic, or a knockout. I mean, I don't really believe, in my mind anyway, seeing Holly submit Cyborg. I just don't see that. it's going to be very hard for Cyborg to take her down, I think, to begin with. She's going to have to get hungry like Misha did. And Misha had already lost 5 rounds. I mean, she was at the tail end of the fight. Who's going to win the fight? I think Holly Holmes is going to shock the world again. She shocked the world when she went up against Ronda Rousey. In fact, I did a video predicting that victory. And I'll put a link in the description box down below where you can check that video out. When I did that video, people were leaving comments saying, man, you don't even know what you're talking about. Because at that time, Ronda Rousey was the top, and Holly was this up-and-comer, you know, and I predicted that victory. Everybody said I was crazy. Everybody said I didn't know what I was talking about. And then after the fight, guess what? People were editing their comments. They were deleting their comments. Deleting them. Thumbing down my video and everything else. You know, it is what it is. So, yeah, I said it. Holly Holmes is going to shock the world again. She's going to rise to the occasion. At the time when she fought Ronda, Ronda was the scariest woman on the planet. She at 135 pounds. She was throwing these girls the best judo that I've ever seen in the UFC. I mean, tossing these girls, ragdolling them, and then submitting them, snapping arms. She broke Miesha Tate's arm. Just dominant woman. Everybody was afraid of Ronda. Nobody wanted to fight her. Holly took the fight. Left kick, head kick, boom, dropped her. And that's what I mean. If Holly can fire that left head kick, she will fire it like a piston, and I don't care what woman it is. If she lands it correct, she will knock that person out cold. She has the capability of doing it. So that's my prediction, folks. UFC 219, December 30th. I think it's going to be a treat of a fight card. Carlos Condit's on that card. Watch him. He's going to win his fight. Carlos has that fight spirit too. He's a very smart fighter. But that's my prediction. If I was a betting man, I'd be betting everything I got on Holly Holm. But I don't bet because fighting is at a level where whoever makes the first insignificant mistake could pay for it with the fight. You know, that's how high a level these fighters are these days. If you make one little tiny mistake, the level of these fighters, they will capitalize on that in the fight. So that's why I don't bet. But it is what it is. Sometimes I'm right on my predictions. Sometimes I'm wrong. But that's it, folks. That's my prediction for UFC 219 main event. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video, share this video, and we'll talk at you after the event and see if I was right or not. I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye. God bless. Merry Christmas. Later.